India now needs to establish two or three things. Number one, high quality produce. Number two, effective labor laws. And number three, position itself as a manufacturing hub, much in the same way China did 25 years ago. 80% of Indian startups are a racket. Gensol, you saw what happened day before yesterday. The problem is we have so many idiots who watch programs, but they don't watch the full thing. So they only collect what they feel is relevant or controversial. Can we call a delivery business innovation? The answer is no. Can we call the selling of food products on a platform innovation? No. What the Kamath brothers did without taking a single penny from the market. Look at Zerodha. So, both Nitin and Nikhil Kamath have shown that startups can be really, really valuable where they have not taken money from any investor. Plus, I was also commenting on the VC PE universe. They are the bigger rascals. We are very castigating of failure. Suppose you fail once, aapko second chance koi nahi dega. The difference between us and America is the way society respects entrepreneurs. Education system in India is all cookie cutter. See, the difference here is that we treat education from a degree prism. We have to flip that and convert it into treating education as a knowledge device. Knowledge is infinite. Sir, मैंने एक business शुरू किया वड़ा पाव बेचने की. It's a startup. That way there are people here who have done zillions of startups. Do you call them startups? Are there zillion podcasts happening or not? Answer is yes. How are you different? Just because of your face and your beard? No.
So Suhel, thank you for coming back on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
The first question that Suhel that I have to ask, and your tweets have not been clear about it, this is that why are you not a part of the Samosa Caucus? Because you seem to be a very natural addition to the group.
No, it's just that my timings didn't work out, and that's about it.
I hope to see you on that show someday. I think your opinions are known here about the Piyush Goyal statement where he was criticizing the Indian startup ecosystem and saying that maybe we are not working on the right problems or cutting edge. The argument from that side is known. What I would like to get your take on is the argument from the other side that was that the ease of business in India today is not very high. There are a lot of red tape. There's a lot of bureaucratic hurdles that a startup has to go through even today. So what is your counter to that argument saying that ease of business in India is not high for startups today?
So let me tell you where I'm coming from. What I said was not a defense of Piyush Goyal or anyone. Piyush Goyal is quite capable of defending himself. I said in my remarks that 80% of Indian startups are a racket. Gensol, you saw what happened day before yesterday.
Yes.
So I stand correct. I mean, I've said the right thing. No one has said that no startup is doing well. Of course, Indian startups are doing well. We are proud of many of them. But to say that everyone is great, rubbish. Why should I say it? Tell me, most of these startups, which have collected a lot of money from retail investors, to hell with what the VCs and Ps, you take Zomato, for instance. I've been told, I may be wrong, I've been told that the losses of Zomato are still pretty high. But the early investors have made 10 times or 1,000 times their investment, and they've disappeared. The founders are doing very well, and I don't begrudge them their lifestyle. So what are we talking about? I read in the newspapers that Vijay Shekhar Sharma of Paytm had bought himself a bungalow in Amrita Shergill Mall. Good. I'm glad he's staying on Amrita Shergill Mall. But what have you done to the retail investor? So look at this, the Jaggi brothers. What did they do? You wiped out NBFCs, you wiped out your investors, and you're living a great life. You're buying an apartment in Camellias, you're paying 26 lakhs for golf sets. The point I was making is that please let's not be over enthusiastic about the startup community. B. My point had nothing to do with the startup community. My point, and I said it repeatedly on the program, the problem is we have so many idiots who watch programs, but they don't watch the full thing. So they only collect what they feel is relevant or controversial. My premise was that Indian startups are not displaying the kind of innovation they should be displaying. And I'm not even defending Piyush or what Piyush said. What is my point? Can we call a delivery business innovation? The answer is no. Can we call the selling of food products on a platform innovation? No. Let me tell you who were actual innovators. Facebook, Google, Amazon. What did Jeff Bezos do? He flipped from a bookstore into a platform. That is innovation. Now you're telling me that someone is delivering ice cream in 10 minutes, someone is delivering sandesh in 15 minutes. Wo bhi innovation hai. It's not. B. I was talking about innovation in the areas of deep tech. I was talking about innovation. And mind you, there are people who are doing fantastic work as well within the startup community. Health, agri-tech, they're doing phenomenal work.
Okay.
Look at what the Kamath brothers did without taking a single penny from the market. Look at Zerodha. So, both Nitin and Nikhil Kamath have shown that startups can be really, really valuable where they have not taken money from any investor. Plus, I was also commenting on the VC PE universe. They are the bigger rascals. So that Sanjeev Bikhchandani says, oh, but Masa has invested 15 billion. Damn good. Good for Masa. But is it good for India? Where is Masa invested? He has invested in the Oyos and the Zomatos. By the way, where Sanjeev Bikhchandani is also an investor. So when Bikhchandani makes comments, he must understand conflict of interest. He did not
Okay.
disclose, ki bhai, I'm an investor. So that is up to Bikhchandani. It's not my comment. And I'm a great fan of Bikhchandani. I think what he's done is also remarkable. But everyone missed the woods for the trees. We are not saying what Masa has done is good or bad. I'm saying where has that money gone and what has it yielded? Today, you tell me, what are the losses of Oyo? What are the losses of Paytm? Then
Yeah.
it's very easy to say, नहीं भी हमने बहुत तीर मारी है. अरे आपने अगर तीर मारी है, आप निशाना तो दिखाओ.
So I'd like to take this opportunity to say that Sohail, I'm working on with a startup that is in deep tech, and let's
Good.
hope that it works out. What is missing, I would say, in the startup ecosystem then? And it's fascinating because even not a lot of technical expertise needed to build a, let's say, Indian Twitter and an Indian Instagram. So what is missing in the ecosystem that we are not coming up with in-house social media platforms or in-house?
There, I will not blame the startup universe. I will blame ourselves, me included. India has been a very forbidding environment. Forget ease of business. Our education system sucks. We don't create people who are allowed unfettered thinking. A, B, we are very castigating of failure. Suppose you fail once, आपको second chance कोई नहीं देगा. The difference between us and America is the way society respects entrepreneurs. We will get there. So there are many startup founders in India for whom I have a lot of respect for what they have done, including people in Zomato. Don't get me wrong. But the point I was making was a larger point. I was saying with India's prowess in software, with India's technology prowess, why are we not creating? I don't have the answer. I asked on that television program with Arnab that why are we not creating a Facebook? Why did Facebook not get created in India or a Google or a Nvidia? That was my question, to which I don't have an answer because I'm not in this universe. If I had an answer, I would have given it. But I was only raising a question in terms of highlighting what the key issues going forward will be. A, B, remember, India and Indians don't spend money on brand building and don't have that ammunition of money that an American company will and does have. So one day I hope we will have that ammunition to create a global brand.
And if you say that it's a cultural problem, then where does the educational institutions fit in here, or let's say a shitty education system?
Education system in India is all cookie cutter. See, the difference here is that we treat education from a degree prism. We have to flip that and convert it into treating education as a knowledge device. Knowledge is infinite. Education is finite. The moment you finish your MA, आपने खत्म कर ली ना, या MSc. So that was the point I was making. That we have to encourage unfettered thinking. You have to have an environment where people are not measured by their marks. You tell me, SRCC, you have to have 100 on 100. How the hell do you get bloody 100 in English? How do you get it? But that's your cutoff. Now, isn't that stupid? This is where the stupidity of the Indian education system comes up. Now, my point is that if this is the way you're creating cutoffs, and if those guys are such big geniuses, why the hell did they not create Facebook?
Yeah. So, but I would like to say that there are some people in certain sectors of India that are doing some exceptional work in education as well. Unfortunately,
Absolutely. No one is denying that. Point I'm making is, yeah, there was no intention and never has been. And if you saw that program, I used the phrase, I said, you can't tar everyone with the same brush. But what is visible is the sexy, glamorous part of the startup universe, which, by the way, is actually shallow. It's hollow because it's showing the losses. It's showing how founders are living up their lives. Their disconnect, and that disconnect is worrisome.
The eventual losers are the retail investors, unfortunately, in this whole game.
Absolutely.
You just mentioned earlier also that we don't invest, let's say, in brand building. And I've read a lot of books about podcasts and about channels. Read a lot of book about entrepreneurs and startups. I can't relate to most of it because I can't see how my channel is supposed to be a startup in the conventional sense. So, do you have any advices
Now,
for
one
me,
minute. How the hell do you become a startup? How do you become a startup? Everyone and his mother is doing a podcast. What is so unique? So, yeah, na, now everyone, you start a business, you start selling vada pav, you say, I'm a startup. The definition of a startup is not that you started a business. Startups have a universal definition where primarily they are mired in technology. That's the mistake a lot of people are making. मैंने एक बिजनेस शुरू किया वड़ा पाव बेचने की, इट्स अ स्टार्टअप. That way, there are people here who have done zillions of startups. Do you call them startups? Every goddamn business can't be a startup here. I mean, then then you start a restaurant, that's also a startup.
No, but don't you think that at least the podcast, the Joe Rogan podcast, don't you think they're startups in their own?
Not at all. They are in the, yeah, listen. Are there zillion podcasts happening or not? Answer is yes. How are you different? Just because of your face and your beard? No. Have you done anything unique? Ask that question to yourself. So you're not a startup. You're a podcaster. You have started a podcast, but you're not a startup. Get that definition right.
So you think that I should just be looking at this as a hobby and not a career?
A, you've not paid me for consulting, so I can't give you free advice. B, I don't know. It's not my universe.
Okay, cool. So let's come back to your universe, and basically your where you excel is marketing. Now, Sohail, what different thing that you bring to the table from conventional marketers is that you have some experience in political marketing campaigns as well. And I have a, it's very interesting. So I just wanted you to differentiate between the two. Are the fundamentals of marketing still applicable to a political campaign marketing? Because who is the consumer? It's the electorate.
So yes and no. Political marketing is a confusing terminology. I do political brand scheme marketing. So let's say Atal Bihari Vajpayee or Sheila Dikshit. What did we position Sheila Dikshit as? As the lady who cares deeply for her citizens. It was caste neutral, creed neutral, gender neutral. And then I created a word called Bhagidari, which was basically partnership between government and RWAs, Resident Welfare Association in Delhi. Simple. Sheila Dikshit was then positioned as this really nice, kind, committed, firm lady. That's how you do it. So political branding is not where I'm branding a political party. Again, there I was looking at human brands. So I think that is the differentiation. To answer your question.
Do the fundamentals of marketing still apply to these campaigns
Absolutely,
as well?
because the brand has a benefit, consumers buy benefits. You don't buy Colgate, you buy the whitest teeth. It so happens that Colgate represents all that you seek from, a brand for your teeth. So it's ultimately consumers buy benefits. They don't buy the brand.
And do you think it's a very thankless job, sales and marketing? Or
Not at all. It's a great job.
okay. Because I would say that in the education system, sales and marketing are not very encouraged. And I would say that it's one of the most important skills that an individual, at least at my age, can learn.
That's what I've done. So I'm not going to be stupid to say, no, it's a shitty job. I love it.
Okay. And talking about conventional marketing, Soil. So I just wanted to discuss some of your, basically, if there are some of the anecdotes that you have carried on from your career and some of the hits and the misses that you would like to share. You have worked with the Tatas, you have extensively worked with big names.
Yeah, I don't think there have been any misses. Not that I've not made mistakes. I must have made mistakes, but we've repaired or course corrected before launching the brand. But there have been so many. It's difficult for me to put down a laundry list and say, ye ki hai, wo ki hai. I mean, I'm proud of every brand I've worked on, and I believe I've given it my best. My guiding principle is out of the box thinking. Why? Because I've understood and been in this industry and recognized that ultimately I'm responsible not to my client, but to the consumer. If you get that idea very clear in your head, the likelihood of you making mistakes is less.
And do you think that your early experiences with debating and in college and stuff like that, and your very effectiveness in public speaking has bore some fruits in your career? Or
Absolutely. I've always told people that read, speak, and listen. Not necessarily in that order. You should listen first or read even before that. So it helps because ultimately, public speaking is about communication. Branding is also about communication. If you're woolly headed, if you're fudgy in your mind, you'll never be able to give a very articulate positioning for that brand, which therefore will result in a mess at the consumer traction level. So it's important for you to speak well, to speak logically, but all of that speech must emerge from a groundswell of knowledge which you have gleaned and garnered over the years that you've been around.
I would be remiss if I don't ask you about the Trump tariffs, because our first podcast was about the US elections. And I've given up on decoding what the tariffs mean actually, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. So it would be great if you could just help us understand why the administration is doing what it is doing.
Because he's the president of the United States. He's not the president of Fiji or India. He will do what he has to do to bring back two things. One is manufacturing into the United States, and two is even out the global disparity that existed between tariffs which were imposed on American products and tariffs that were imposed by America on non American products. So he's just setting scores. A, B, he's trying to create a global balanced order as far as trade is concerned. And, it's his call. He's the elected president of the United States. So for all of us to get very antsy and say, oh, but why is Trump doing this? He's doing what he's promised to do. So people who are stupid and objecting should go and see what he said as part of his campaign speeches.
Elon Musk is also now saying that he also doesn't understand the tariff. So do you think that there will be a kind of a fight between the two in the
I've
near future?
always I've always said that Elon Musk and Donald Trump are alpha males. Alpha males will fight at one time or the other, but I can't predict A, whether there will be a fight, and B, when that fight will be.
Cool. And where do you see India in this all of this? The people are saying that this is an opportunity since 245% on Chinese tariffs.
Of course, I think what Prime Minister did with Make in India was, to my mind, a hell of a lot of foresight. Indian manufacturing needs to shore up. The Tatas are doing a lot of work for Apple, and you will see that Apple's iPhone deliveries from India will zoom. And that's what it's a good sign for India. India now needs to establish two or three things. Number one, high quality produce. Number two, effective labor laws. And number three, position itself as a manufacturing hub, much in the same way China did 25 years ago.
Got it. That makes sense. And I'm curious. Do you look at the markets at all? The US markets or the Indian markets?
No,
Uh, okay. So you're not looking at your portfolios daily.
I don't. I have all my money in a fixed deposit. I don't care about the stock market.
Oh, that's interesting. Well, maybe there's some investment advice there. Moving on, Sohel, I think you retweeted this. There was a talk about Nandan Nilekani saying that energy is going to be the next UPI. And I'm always looking for disruptive ideas like this that can maybe help position India better. And that I'll just give a brief about what he was saying is that small households will just participate in the national grid, and it will not only lead to free electricity but also a small disposable incomes for small households via solar panels and stuff like that. And you retweeted about this. So what is your take? Is it actually feasible? Are we moving in the right direction?
So there's a company you may or may not have heard of called Inox GFL, which is helmed by this young chap called Devansh Jain. They are doing some phenomenal work in energy transition, and they are one of two or three. They are producing stuff for EVs and all right here. So I think there's a great, no pun intended, there's a great energy within India to take on the energy basket or the energy bucket. So what Nandan is saying is absolutely bang on. See, ultimately, solar will replace your traditional fossil fuel driven energy solutions because that's where the world is headed. And that's where India should head. So I see no disconnect with what Nandan has said.
And what are the timeline that we are talking about here?
I have no idea.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Uh, Again, one of the disruptive ideas that I've thought about is what is India doing even currently better than other countries? And it's basically cheap and quick medical services. So even if you talk to my friends in India, my friends in the US, or even people who are Americans or Europeans, one thing that they do mention about India is that the medical services here are cheap and quick, and they're not way off in terms of quality as well. So I was talking about medical tourism as a part of, as an opportunity for India as well. So do you think that is happening? Do you think there's a scope for it?
So let me tell you, you have Apollo Hospitals, which was founded by Dr. Pratap C. Reddy. Apollo today is better than the Mayos and the Clevelands and the Sloan Ketterings. If you look at two things, one is adoption of technology, and number two is clinical outcomes.
Mhm.
Today, Apollo draws, to my mind, from what I've read, it draws so many medical tourists. People, I mean, tourist is the incorrect word, but it draws people from across the world who are coming here for treatment. Because look, the healthcare system in America is broken. The healthcare system in the UK is broken. The NHS is a nightmare.
Yes.
So that's the scene.
Cool. So you're saying it's already happening as well.
I mean, Apollo is now amongst the top two global organizations in healthcare as far as clinical outcomes are concerned. And Dr. Reddy has always believed, and so do four of his daughters who are now running the chain,
Mhm.
believe that, look, we have to adopt great technology. We have to make sure that our people who come to us get the best clinical excellence. The Indian doctors have come of age. The nursing staff is brilliant. So more and more people are drawing towards healthcare systems which are India centric and India originated. And it's interesting that you discuss healthcare. Apollo, just as an example, is the only genuinely Indian-owned, Indian-run healthcare system. A
Okay.
lot of the other hospitals have foreign investors.
But are we talking about NRIs here, or are you saying that, like, let's say, white people are also coming to Apollo for medical services?
Absolutely, it's people from across the world, people from Africa, people from England, not just the NRIs, people from the US.
And are you still working, or are you
I
uh,
am, well, till this morning,
perfect?
not
Chalo,
a problem.
yeah, I'll let you go. Bye bye. Chalo. Thank you so much for coming,
Thank
and hope to get you back on the show.